In the 1990s, X-Men, the animated series, was immortalizing the Marvel mutant super team on the TV screen, so it only made sense to expand the X-Men saga in live action. Alas, it would still take the 2000 X-Men movies to give the team a proper screen debut, as 1990's XS disastrous Gen X movie remains a forgotten footnote from the franchise today. At Movie Recap Pro, we look at this infamous TV movie that came to be universally criticized by X-Men fans. Intended to be a TV pilot and later broadcast as a TV film, Generation X was an adaptation of the X-Men spin-off comic series of the same name. Instead of the usual X-Men lineup with Cyclops, Jean Grey, and Wolverine, audiences found Emma Frost leading the team with younger characters like Jubilee and Banshee. But despite such iconic characters, the TV movie couldn't stick the landing with its low-budget sets, over-the-top costumes, and some campy visual effects. Granted, the movie was made on a limited budget in 1996, but it still paled in comparison to other superhero media of the 1990s. This was the decade of stylish and visually striking comic book adaptations like Blade, The Crow, and The Mask. Maybe a bigger budget and more nuanced art direction would have helped make Generation X look better. While most of the Generation X team lineup was lifted from the comics, the movie's villain was an uninteresting character written specifically for the film. Dr. Russell Trace is introduced as an over-the-top, unethical doctor who wants to control people's minds and access what he calls the dream dimension. Well, with this machine, I can get directly into anybody's dreams and make suggestions like buy Slick Lips lipstick. This modus operandi seems hilarious in the face of the darker themes of X-Men. A villain like Trace doesn't really capture the hate and racism that mutant kind faces, especially in the face of morally gray X-Men villains like Magneto and Apocalypse. As for the Generation X lineup, the movie was criticized for its creative liberties. For starters, Jubilee was whitewashed, without any trace of her Chinese-American heritage. Considering how her racial identity conflicts with her mutant powers in the comics and the animated series, portraying her as white was a missed opportunity. Then there's the mutant Mondo, who in the comics can take on the appearance and properties of any organic matter that he touches. The movie merely reduced his power to turning as hard as the material he absorbs. An easygoing Samoan in the comics, Mondo was reduced to a high school jock stereotype. Ethnicity was also an issue here, as Mondo was played by a non-Samoan actor. So, Generation X was an interesting step during the X-Men craze in the 1990s, but it was undoubtedly a flawed experiment with too many creative liberties and unimpressive technical elements. Unsurprisingly, the 1996 TV movie failed to spawn a TV show as it initially planned to. Thanks for watching.